Let's
What's going
go!
on?
Let's go, Spinny! Let's go! I'm so excited for this episode, man. The one where I get to roast you for picking against Pat Mahomes not once but twice in a row. How we feeling, Spinny?
This is the earliest I have ever used my headline in a show. But if you want to just go ahead and read it, then we'll get to Jack.
Spinny, man, episode 91. There is actually a lot of 91s. Who do you got this week?
Kevin Green, baby. Third
Kevin Green.
all-time sacks in NFL history.
Yes,
A
sir.
guy that I really didn't know anything about, honestly, and kind of like played for the Rams and Pittsburgh and then kind of bounced around, had 10 sacks for four different teams in his career. Kind of wild.
He was part of those elite Steelers defenses back in the day.
Sacks for hire. He was literally just sacks for hire, basically.
Literally. Kevin Green. Two other NFL players. Tamba Hali. I know you remember Tamba.
That's a good one.
He's 91. Fletcher Cox.
Ooh,
He's also
Fletcher
91.
Cox.
Two
You see
NBA
him
players.
trolling Debo?
Oh, yeah, that was so funny.
Oh my
Was that on his Instagram story or something? That was
Just,
so funny.
just immediate roasting. I
Yeah.
was like, oh.
Right when the game ended. Oh,
Yeah.
man. I got two NBA 91s, though. You know?
Dennis Rodman?
Dennis Rodman, man. This is a Dennis Rodman episode. There's one
Yeah.
more.
Ron Artest?
Ron Artest, Malice in the Palace. Ron Artest, he was wearing 91. when the
Was
Malice
he
at the Palace-
really?
Yes, he was. He was wearing 91 when the Malice at the Palace went down.
That
Yes,
so
indeed.
that when he went into the stands, his jersey said 91 on the back.
Look it up. Ron Artest,
Wow.
91, Indiana Pacers.
Sheesh. That's wild. That's
I
some
was
good
shocked.
ones. That is our best number in
I
a
know.
while.
That's what I'm saying. I was so shocked. I was like, damn, Ron was really 91 when that shit went down. I could not remember that. Two NHL guys. You know I might as well shout them out, right, Spinny, for our listeners. Sergei Fedorov. No idea who that is, but he's a Hall of
Got
Famer.
close.
So,
Got close. It's Fedorov.
Fedorov.
He was
There you go.
he was a center for the Red Wings in the 90s when they were amazing.
And yeah, made the Hall of Fame. And Steven Stamkos for your Tampa Bay Lightning. He's also
The
91.
goal scoring god. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow. We got some all-stars rocking here. Hall of
I
Famers
know.
galore.
The
Let's
Mouse
go.
at the Palace, Ron Artest.
Is Rodman's in the Hall of Fame, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You don't have that many rings and that elite of a defender
Yeah.
/ rebounder and not in the Hall of Fame. Spinny. Super Bowl. Before we dive into the Super Bowl, though, there were some awards that were announced that we have not discussed yet on this podcast.
Ooh.
All
You're
of
going to
the
tease
awards-
me like that? You're going to just be a tease like that? Got it.
Yeah.
Got
I'm
it.
going to make you wait a little longer before you admit how
right.
embarrassed you were that you picked against Mahomes once again. MVP, Lamar, no surprise there, right? We're good with that one? Yeah, I think we both picked him for that. Myles Garrett, DPOY. We good with that? We a little upset that TJ Watt didn't get any respect. I thought it was gonna be Myles, though.
Garrett's defense is just like, it was the same level of impact as TJ Watt, if not more, and Cleveland's defense was better.
Better, yes, exactly. CMC, Offense player of the year, obviously well deserved, led the league in scrimmage yards and had, 21, 22 touchdowns. Texans, both rookie of the years. Will Anderson and CJ Stroud. Texans get both of them. Were you a little surprised by Will Anderson one?
Um, no, not really. Maybe a touch, but um, I when more gonna just roast myself a little preview for a segment 2 weeks from now. The fact that every single person alive absolutely roasted the Texans and said they were going to be terrible and Arizona was going to get their pick and they were the biggest idiots of all time. And then they got both rookies of the year with those two picks, and Stroud looks like the best
And made the
quarterback
playoffs.
and made the playoffs and like absolutely just middle fingered every single person that ever talked about what they did on draft night. So credit to them.
Yeah, seriously. Hold up. I'm now just seeing the voting for these awards. Backtrack a little bit to MVP. Someone actually voted Josh Allen first. One person.
Classic.
49 votes for Lamar, 1 for Josh Allen, 0 for everyone else. Like, what are we doing here? Get rid of that dude. That dude shouldn't be a voter anymore. Coach of the year, Stefanski. I accurately predicted that one. I was honestly a little surprised. I didn't know if it was actually going to be him or not. Comeback player of the year. This man's Damar
Yeah,
Hamlin
this is
literally
hot.
died, and he didn't get comeback player of the year. He literally
The
died.
guy that got it literally told everyone that DeMar should get it. He literally
Yeah.
said DeMar should get it, not me.
He won because he had
Wild.
more points. I don't know how they score it, but he had Flacco only had 13 first place votes. Damar Hamlin had 21. So Damar had more first place votes and still lost. That makes it even crazier. What does he have to do? That's all I'm wondering. Like, this bro literally died on the field. Like, I'm sorry. He needs to win. I don't care how bad he is. He was on a roster. He made it back. He could be dead right now. Could you imagine what would have happened if he died? Would there be an NFL?
Would there be an NFL? Yeah, there would.
That's pretty wild
Hmm.
if he would have actually died. That would have been a wild situation.
It would have been. It would have been sad, very, very sad for everyone involved. Also, but yeah, I was mind blown that he didn't win. Like when
Yeah.
when the guy who wins says you should win, you know that's all you need to know. The
Yeah,
conversation right there.
literally. All right, enough about awards. Let's dive into it. The most watched Super Bowl of all time. 123.4 million viewers on average. That is an absurd number. Spinny, let's hear your thoughts first, man, since you were on the losing side.
I called it with 4 minutes and 23 seconds left in the second quarter when Christian
When
McCaffrey
they went
scored
down
that
by 10?
touchdown from Jennings, and I was like, "There's your 10-point lead," and it's blown. Mahomes is blowing it. It was just the Chiefs were just in perfect position the whole time. You're just like, yeah, it's gonna come down to one drive, and it's Purdy's looking mid, and Mahomes is Mahomes, and that's how it's gonna look. I just know what's gonna happen. The whole time, it was like I just was living in dread the entire game, just constant dread. I was like, "Yep, Mahomesy, more Mahomesy. Yep, yep, yep. Exactly know how this game's gonna play out, and it's exactly how it played out." So yeah, nice, good. Good shape.
Didn't score their first touchdown until like 2-3 minutes left in the third quarter, and they still won this game, Spinny. I get what you're saying, but I'm not gonna lie. Most of that game, I did think the Niners were actually gonna win. I was like,
I
they couldn't get
legitimately,
anything going.
I legitimately did not think that. It's from literally no cap from 10-0 to the end. I never once thought the Niners were going to win that game. 100% did not. Like even
Well,
on the downs, it's like they could never take advantage of the Chiefs' mistakes enough to
that's
like
that's
it
true.
was just like you're just blowing it. You're just blowing these chances that you're getting right now. And that's just I just when you blow that many chances against the Chiefs, they're gonna come back and they're gonna make it happen eventually. Living in dread. That was that Super Bowl for me. Living in dread. Felt
You
like I
asked
was
for it, though.
watching a scary movie. Like I felt like I was at Paranormal Activity, chilling there, and just like I knew I was gonna get absolutely scared, but it's just you don't know when, but you know what's gonna happen. That's how I felt.
So Mahomes, no surprise, third Super Bowl MVP, finished with over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. This makes it 3 titles in his first 6 seasons as a starter. In comparison, before turning 30 years old, Tom Brady, 3,200 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 3 Super Bowl championships. Mahomes, on the other hand, 5,100 yards, it's almost 2,000 more yards, 41 touchdowns, so 21 more touchdowns, 8 interceptions, so actually less interceptions than Tom Brady, and 3 Super Bowls. And also, by the way, he's only 28. And this was stats before 30. So he's even got 2 more years. Spinny, you get a little worried about your GOAT, man? He's coming.
I mean, it's really in play now. I mean, I think
It's in play, for sure.
I think he's the second best quarterback of all time. Dang it all. Like I there's just so much time left and he doesn't have to do any like just his stats and eye tests if he continues at this level gets him better than Manning and Montana. So I'm just putting that done already, given that he
Right.
just has to not be injured to do it. Like
Yeah.
he's not going to suddenly get bad. So
Yeah.
he doesn't even have to win anymore like to do that. So put him above those guys. And yeah, it's just Brady in it. And like you said, if this continues, it looks like he's on track. I mean, the Chiefs' defense is babies, so that's only getting better.
Yeah, they're young.
And I mean, there will be a moment in the next either next year or the year after where Travis Kelsey
Is gone.
isn't as like unworldly as he is.
Right.
And maybe it'll be a little later than that. I mean, Tony Gonzalez looked darn good
Yeah.
till he was like 38 years old. So who knows? But I think that also means money opening up for more offensive weapons. And I really only think they need one or like a 1A 1B situation or a couple of good guys. I don't think you need top five receivers in the league. I think you need those Deion Branch guys, those Wes Welkery guys, those Julian Edelman guys. I literally think they're doing that. I think it's Patriots model for the dynasty. Defense, stack it up with all these young guys, protect Mahomes, get him some great offensive linemen, have him stand back there forever, and make him work with the receivers that he's got. And then get the occasional really good one when they have something happen or get injured or whatever.
I mean, it's a proven recipe for success, right? Obviously. I mean, 6 Super Bowls for Tom Brady when he was in New England. So
And
I don't blame him
it's
for
just
following that.
crazy how you go from the Chiefs of that we've seen for the last 2 or 3 years though to winning like this, and
Oh,
now
offense.
you're gonna
Yeah.
yeah, it's like the Patriots did it, but it took like 5-10 years to do it. It's like the Chiefs did it in 5 seconds.
Right. This is wild. Shout out to Warren Sharp. I'm gonna read his tweet because this is just crazy to think about. So the scariest part of this Super Bowl, he says, this was supposed to be the year to knock off the Chiefs, right? Mahomes was the most expensive cap hit in the NFL at 37 million. His O line was weakened as compared to last year, obviously. His WR1 was literally a rookie. They were forced to play 6 straight games at a rest disadvantage, weeks 12 through 17, the only time a team had to do that in NFL history. They played a game in Germany. They didn't get a first round bye. They had to play on the road in the divisional round as an underdog and in the conference championship as an underdog. They were also underdog in the Super Bowl and were down by double digits at one point. And it was the toughest path to a Super Bowl based on strength of opponent faced ever in all NFL history, and they still won the Super Bowl. All that against them, they still got it done because Pat Mahomes was on it.
Who was their first round opponent? Wild card round opponent?
They played at home against the Dolphins.
Okay. But
So Dolphins,
Tua,
at
Josh
Bills.
Allen, and Lamar all
Yep,
3 in a row, and then beat the second best or the best roster in the NFL
correct.
in the Super Bowl. So yeah, I mean, cat is tipped. I hate rooting against Mahomes. I you just feel like crap the whole time you do it. So credit to them. Yeah, hopefully something wild happens managerially and decides he doesn't want to coach anymore, and then maybe they won't be as good. But
Shut up, Spinny. Oh my
but
gosh.
other than that, it's not looking good for this Brady GOAT reign for too long. And as much as I hate to admit this as well, I don't think Mahomes has to get to seven either. I don't. I mean, I think you have
I
to get to
agree.
five, at
At least
least
five.
five,
At
at
least five.
least five,
Correct. Yeah. So I'm with
and
you.
that has to be with continued um
Regular season
regular season
success and
success.
the stats
And
are
if
really yeah.
yeah, if that's mitigated a little, then maybe it's six. But I don't think it's just a count the rings type situation, obviously. But
Yeah.
he's got two or three Super Bowls more for sure to win to go. But he's going to be in his prime for 10 years. So, I mean, it's a
Right. He's
quarterback. So he's
28
in his
years
prime
old.
until he's 38. Like, he's
Yeah.
got 10 more years to win two Super Bowls, and he's won them in half the years he's been in the league so far. So,
And if you think about Tom Brady's career, he went 10 years between Super Bowls 3 and 4.
yeah.
So a lot can happen. A lot can happen. Let's jump to the 49ers side of this game now. First off, very quickly, are you kidding me? What kind of terrible luck is this for Dre Greenlaw? I'm assuming you saw that, right, Spinny? That
That
was
was awful, bro. Oh,
that was so depressing, dude. I saw it happen like live. Obviously, I was watching. People next to me just thought he like tripped over his own foot. I'm like, no, he 100% ruptured his Achilles.
yeah.
Immediately, I knew that was what happened. 20 minutes later, they say on the broadcast, "Yep, Achilles injury." I'm like, are you kidding me? In the Super Bowl, like, can you imagine? I felt so bad for him. Just running onto the field. He wasn't even in. It wasn't a play. He's just running onto the field. Oh,
And
get
then the
healthy,
Chiefs
Dre Greenlaw.
proceeded to pick on that
Yeah,
new guy the whole game,
yeah,
the
the whole game.
entire game. Oh, Dre Greenlaw's sitting back there just ticked watching
Yeah.
that.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
I
I
felt
feel
so
bad
bad
for
for
that
him.
man. Purdy, what'd you think of Brock?
I was about to ask that too. He could have played better, obviously, but he played well enough to win this game. Like he did. I feel better about him now after seeing him this postseason. I thought he played pretty well this entire postseason. I was a little worried that he would, get carried all the way. But he did his part. I'm definitely more confident in him going forward, and he's actually sitting right there at that back end of the top 10 in the QB rankings for me. He might not have slid in quite yet, but there's no denying it, right? I mean, look at all the regular season stats. I mean, they still got it done in the playoffs. They still went to the Super Bowl, right? They only lost to the defending champion. They lost to Pat Mahomes. Like, how much are you going to hold that against him, right? Or am I
That's a fair
crazy?
point.
You don't think he's top 10 yet?
Uh, I don't know. You're probably right. He's probably in that 10 to 12 range. You're probably right about that. It's just it's so perfect right now, and there's still so many moments where you're like, it just looks a little hinky sometimes, and it's
That's a
like
fair
it
point.
shouldn't look hinky with
Right.
Ayuk and Debo and Kittle and
Yeah.
McCaffrey
McCaffrey.
and Trent Williams. Like it shouldn't look. Bleh. Chiefs defense was good. You got to give them credit as well for how they played, especially how they played against Christian McCaffrey in the second half. Um, he was not as effective as he we thought he was going to be either. So I and it was just some bad turnover luck too. I mean,
I mean
Christian McCaffrey fumble and
the
then the
muff punt too.
the off the leg.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's terrible
did
luck.
people at your Super Bowl party think that or
He grabbed it for no
see the
reason.
leg thing right away? Yeah,
Yeah. I was
yeah.
actually yelling. Here I am cheering for the Chiefs, and I'm like, "What are you doing, bro? Why are you grabbing the ball?" Everyone was like that. All of a sudden, we saw the replay. We're like, "Okay, never mind. You get the pass. You get a
Okay.
pass."
Yeah, that's
Okay,
funny.
Spinny. Let's get to it, man. We got to talk about it. OT. the Niners elect to take the ball first. Obviously, the report came out yesterday that multiple 49ers players had no idea about the postseason OT rules, which were established over a year ago, if not 2 years ago almost. I saw there was roughly 26 to 28 playoff games were played since this was put in. Because this was put in after the season where the Chiefs and Bills went to OT, which was
Yeah.
already 2 years.
I check walked the comments back a little bit today, so I'm not going to be maybe as harsh as I was on the Al Travis show this morning about Kyle Shanahan, but there's still like it wasn't ingrained enough in their heads that they were like immediately thinking about it. You know what I mean? So it's like they talked about it, but I don't think they talked about it as much as they should have talked about it still, because there's still some players that are like not on the same page, at least a little. But I don't think it was as bad maybe as not talking about it at all. Also, I heard that the theory was they wanted the ball third. So they thought they could go down, do what they could do. They trusted their defense to get a stop on that second possession, force a tie, and then go for it on the third possession when
Right.
it's. And that is an
Yeah.
interesting
So
strategy to me.
for those that didn't understand the rules, say the Niners got a field goal, right? Say the Chiefs only got a field
Hmm.
goal as well. Then the next score wins. So like the Chiefs could have ran the clock out. They're obviously going to keep playing because there needs to be a winner. So the next score after both teams get a possession, that's game over from there. So that's what Spinny is
Yep.
referring to. Niners would have got the ball back. It would have been a tied game. If they score even just a field goal, the game's over. So I get
Yep.
that totally. I totally get that. But to me, when you're facing Patrick Mahomes, you give them the ball first because you can't have him have the ball last. It's Patrick Mahomes. Like he's gonna get it done,
The
and he did.
the only and if you're gonna play that strategy, I would I would potentially have gone like I understand going for it on that fourth down is very, very risky because then you can't give up any points.
Right.
But if you're playing the I trust my defense game in a 3 versus 0 scenario, if that's really the angle you're trying to play, I think the odds of you going for it in that type of situation should go up then because it's the same, principle. Your defense just especially down there, they have to stop them at that 50-yard range instead of 70. So if that's the strategy you're really is what made you employ that, I feel like maybe they would have gone for it on that ball. Also, though, interesting was the Chiefs saying that if if the Niners would have scored a touchdown, they were going to go for two on that
Yeah.
second drive.
And what's crazier about that is that this was like a plan from before the season. Like they talked about this
Yeah,
during training camp, at least
yeah,
according to Chris Jones.
yeah. Wild.
They've been planning. They
But
knew.
that's detail. That
That's
is
coaching.
good coaching. That is
Yes,
good coaching. That is detail. That is like visualization of what you're actually going to do and
exactly.
really putting the effort and in the effort into the details to get that done. That is impressive shit right there.
For real. Kyle Shanahan, now 0-3 in Super Bowls. They're all kind of bad losses too. Obviously, we know the 28-3 blown lead against Spinny's GOAT Tom Brady. Spinny, I think he officially joins the Vikings and the Bills as the biggest chokers in NFL history, right?
The Vikings, Bills, and Kyle Shanahan.
That's the three. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
We can't win a Super
That
Bowl. The Bills lose 4 straight Super Bowls. Kyle Shanahan is on different
can make
teams and
it.
still can make it, but just can't get it done, even when he's favored.
I
He has
mean,
leads. He blows
he
them.
did face Brady and Mahomes. Those have been the two
Yeah,
quarterbacks he's went against.
I
And his
understand.
quarterbacks have been Matt Ryan and Brock Purdy.
I understand, but
So
he had a
and Jimmy
lead.
G.
He
Matt
had a
Ryan,
lead.
Jimmy G, and Brock Purdy against Mahomes and Brady.
He had a lead in all of them, though. Every
Well,
single one.
okay, but
Double
Mahomes and
digit,
Brady,
double
the
digit lead in all
he's
three of them.
lost to the best two quarterbacks of all time in the Super Bowls he's been in.
I'm still putting them in the category of biggest chokers in NFL history with the Bills and the Vikings. Okay, deal with
I
it.
don't know.
Deal with it.
All right.
Last San Francisco point here. Did you see what Brandon Ayuk's best friend posted on his Instagram story today? Did you see
No.
that? He posted this kind of suspect Instagram story that said, "This is why we're leaving San Francisco. How does your all-pro wide receiver only have 3 catches in the Super Bowl?" I'm paraphrasing. He said a little more, but
Yeah.
what do you think about that? Is there trouble looming in San Fran? Or is this
All
just all
pro
sick?
receiver? Who's he? He's talking about Brandon Ayuk?
He
Or
must have made the all-pro this year.
oh, okay.
Maybe he
I
did,
mean,
and he just said that, I guess. I don't know. That's just what he said in his story.
listen, I Chief Steve was good. George Kittle had 2 catches and 3 targets. Not like Debo was getting the ball every 5 minutes. They
Exactly.
couldn't
No, I'm with you.
throw.
Yeah, I'm
They
totally
could
with
not
you.
throw.
No, the
Tough,
Chiefs
I
secondary is
think.
actually elite.
Yeah, it is. Trent McDuffie's their cornerback too.
Yeah,
He was unbelievable.
yeah, he's a freak.
Why is their top corner's name escaping me right now? He is
Yeah, what?
so good.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't remember either? Oh, dang it
No,
all.
we're forgetting the most
Oh,
obvious
man.
guy.
Oh,
That is so
jeez.
embarrassing.
We are L'Jarius Sneed.
There you go, Sneed.
L'Jarius Sneed. Oh my.
Put
He
some
is.
respect on that man.
Woo.
Name. He is a dog. I
He
must
is
say, Skinny,
long
I do
and oof.
believe me and you both said on this podcast that Trent McDuffie was going to be a stud in the NFL. I do believe we both said that. It's almost like you guys
We
should
did.
listen to us more.
Once in a
All right.
while.
Before we jump to the NFL or NBA trade deadline, let's quickly go through some of the non-game related stuff, some of the fun stuff regarding the Super Bowl. Spinny, favorite food you had on Sunday? What was it?
Bacon wrapped jalapeno poppers.
Ooh, damn! You should have saved some for me, man. Could have used some of those. Buffalo chicken bombs were
Yeah.
my favorite food from the day. Those were
Ooh.
delicious. Favorite commercial?
Dunkin' Donuts.
The the Ben Affleck
The one,
one where they're singing and
yeah,
stuff. Yeah, that one was
with Tom
hilarious.
and yeah.
It's funny that J Lo was like the person doing the audition. You know what I mean? It's funny how they made
Yes,
that connection. I
literally.
love the Michael Sarah V commercial that had me geeking
Yep.
out. The Arnold
I was
Schwarzenegger State
dead.
Farm. Neighbor.
Neighbor.
That was hilarious. Those are the best 3 for sure. Um, what about Temu, man? That was blowing my mind that Temu had 3 commercials. Like, what are we talking about? Temu had 3
Yeah,
commercials. I saw a
wild.
hilarious tweet that said the Temu commercials are looking like they were bought off Temu because of like how like kind of shitty they
No,
were.
they were. Oh my gosh,
They were
that's
pretty shit.
unreal.
Yeah,
That's so funny. But they were kind of just like thrown together too, like just random. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
What? Why was
Not
there no car commercials? Why was there no beer commercials? Like there was, but not
not as many.
nearly as
Right.
many. And every CBS show that they've ever had in the history of their network, I think, was advertised.
Plus every movie that's coming out for the next year or 2, pretty much.
It's just weird commercials.
Quick thoughts on halftime performance.
Okay, not my target. Just I wasn't the target of that.
Here's that's my thing with this halftime performance. I liked it a lot, but I also like
Yeah.
grew up listening to Usher. I knew basically every
Yep.
song he was singing, but Usher is
Yep.
too selective of an artist for the Super Bowl. Anyone under
Yeah.
25 has never heard any song he was singing, anyone over probably 35-ish, 30 to 35 to 40 has also never heard any song he's singing. You're basically looking at like a 10-year window of people that
Yeah,
would know him. And then you also eliminate everybody in that window that just simply doesn't like Usher. So it's like,
yeah,
it's way too selective of an artist. I personally liked it, but I totally understand how other people were upset with
yeah. I didn't hate it. I just was like, meh,
it. Meh. Yeah. I think
yeah,
most
meh.
people were in the same boat as you. My last thought here. Did you tune into the Nickelodeon broadcast at all? Because that shit was hilarious,
Mm.
dude. That shit had me geeking out. I just did it for little bits of the game. Oh my god, SpongeBob and Patrick being the announcers for the game was had me rolling. They put like funny captions and headlines under players' names, and dude, there was just so many funny aspects of the Nickelodeon broadcast. It's
I just saw the
unreal.
firmly grasp it part, and that
Yeah,
had me absolutely geeking. Like instant post fumble. You have to firmly grasp it.
yeah, just
Just had
roasted
me
them.
rolling.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
Shout out
Uh,
Nickelodeon and the NFL for that. That's pretty awesome and hilarious, honestly.
they do a great job actually executing that plan too. Okay, NBA trade deadline. This is the
Let's
last thing we're
rock
going to
it.
talk about for episode 91. The Malice in the Palace. Ron Artest episode. All right, Spinny. Trade deadline. We're going to talk four different categories to kind of summarize our thoughts about this trade deadline: the winners, the losers, the no moves really category, and the what the fuck are we doing category. Here we go. Winners. I'll shout out the first one. I have the Knicks as a winner of this deadline to acquire both Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks. Plus, if you throw in OG Anunoby to this as well, to acquire all these guys without giving up a single one of your first, great job by the Knicks front office. They did a great job of fine tuning their roster. They're deep. They have scorers. They have defenders. They have elite role players. They got shot blockers, rebounders. They have quite literally everything that a team needs to make a deep playoff run. So I thought the Knicks were definitely a winner at the deadline. You in the same boat with me?
Oth- Yeah. Other side of that, I thought the Raptors were winners as well. I liked the OG trade, getting rid of that. I counted that one in, as well as Spencer Dinwiddie, which they ended up
Waived.
waiving him
That's just to
anyway,
get off money. Yeah.
but they got the Schroeder and Thaddeus Young contracts off their books, really kind of finally doing that full rebuilding, like committing to it. Um, Obviously, I think. And am I missing one? Oh, Pascal. They got rid of Siakam as well. So finally,
Yeah.
full
Got a
commits
good haul for him.
on dumping.
Yeah. And, obviously Bruce Brown's contract, you know, you don't necessarily really want that on your books. It's pretty expensive, but it's a team option. So this summer they can let him go if they want. Another winner I had. Interested in hearing what you think about these guys' moves. The Mavs. I had them as a winner. I enjoyed their moves. Uh, they were kind of low key moves, obviously. Daniel Gafford isn't the craziest name, but you got Daniel Gafford for Rashawn Holmes and a bunch of second round picks. Why? Like, I don't care about Rashawn Holmes, and now you're getting one of the
Yeah.
best lob finishers in the NBA. Like, he is
Wasn't that a
elite.
first? Didn't
Oh, it was
they
probably a
didn't
future. It was a future protected first, probably, but that was in
yeah,
PJ
20
Washington's deal.
but Mavs was this trade was Gafford and then the Wizards would get Rashawn Holmes in the 2024 first,
Okay,
according to NBA.com.
I still like it. He's like
Yep.
you're pairing one of the best lob finishers in the NBA with Luca, a guy who is elite at throwing lobs. I mean, it's just a
Yeah.
match. It's a match made in heaven. And the best center they've had entire Luca's tenure. I'm trying to think, like, because I mean, yeah, you could throw Kristaps in there, but he's more of a four because he pops every time. But other than that, it's him. Like Lucas had no
Yeah.
centers at all, so I like that one.
True.
PJ Washington as well. Grant Williams. All reports saying that no one really liked him in that locker room. So being able
It's
to get
just
off
it's
them.
funny.
which is weird. Yeah, I kind of find it weird, but he was rubbing
I
people the
feel
wrong
like
way.
I feel like he'll end up back with the C's at some point.
Probably, probably. Seth Curry and a future first included in that as well. Um, Seth Curry, obviously, you would like to keep a guy like that, just got a sniper off the bench. But what are you going to do? You got a forward in here, a young forward with way higher upside, obviously, than Grant Williams. So this guy's going to immediately slot into your rotation, if not your starting lineup. So that's why I thought they were winners to me because they added two guys that are probably going to be starters for them, and I like that.
I like that. Yeah, I think PJ Washington is good. And I think he'll fit well with the Mavs as well. So, all right, should we move?
Do you have any other winners?
Nope.
The only other winner, the Wolves.
Oh, yep.
We
You like
only could
DeMonte
do
Morris?
yeah, we could only do a low key move. That's all the
Yep.
flexibility we had. And to get a guy that's a proven successful backup point guard in this league like Monte Morris for essentially 1 second, I love that. That's a win for the Wolves who are obviously trying to win right now this year. Losers. The biggest loser of this deadline is me and you, Spinny, and the rest of the NBA fans in the world. It was a very underwhelming deadline. Yes, this season we saw OG, James Harden, Terry Rozier, these guys traded, right? All those trades happened before this deadline. Usually we see a lot of big names like that go on the deadline. So from that standpoint, it was very underwhelming. And so, Spinny, I'm sorry to say, but us NBA fans, we were losers. That's for sure.
I agree. I think we are losers. It's hard because with this category, it was hard for me because I felt like the biggest losers at this deadline were a lot of those stand pat teams, right? Like I feel like were there any
No
teams?
moves,
I
team.
mean, yeah, were there any teams that made moves that stood out to you that were bad? Like there was a couple like I couldn't I had
I
a hard
won't.
time finding ones that were actually
I totally
bad,
get what you're
bad, you
saying.
know?
I totally get what you're saying. The only team that I considered for the loser category, believe it or not, was your OKC Thunder.
Oh,
I liked
okay.
what they gave up for Gordon Hayward. Like, I'm not saying they
Yeah.
gave up a ton or anything, but this is a guy who has dealt with how many injuries these past seasons. So, is he even going to stay healthy for this playoff run? And two,
Yep.
how many times I got to say this on this damn podcast? Get a big man. Like, you guys don't need another wing. You need a big man. Chet is not going to be able, his body is not going to last in the playoffs by himself, banging against all these bigs in the West, especially that many rounds if you're actually trying to make it deep. They
I
needed
know.
a
They
big.
needed
So
some depth.
they didn't address their biggest need to me at all. That's why I almost consider them for the loser category. I did leave them off.
That makes sense.
They're close.
I I like that one.
Another loser I had was LeBron.
LeBron.
LeBron specifically, the Lakers themselves didn't care. They were fine with staying pat. LeBron wanted moves to be done, as he usually does. Nothing happened. So LeBron is definitely a loser to this deadline. I mean, another one's DeJounte Murray, right? I mean, he wanted to get out of
Mm.
Atlanta, and he didn't.
Well, sounds like now that Trey Young's the guy going to be traded there. That
When
was
that being
that
said,
was rumors. Is that
this summer, yeah.
looking more like now they're keeping DeJounte and getting Trey out this summer. Crazy. All right, next cat.
Well, I have one last loser I want to mention because this story is hilarious to me. Killian Hayes, he actually might be the biggest loser of the deadline. This man, Killian Bum-ass Hayes, thought he could go out and say he needs a change of scenery. Are you kidding me? Killian Hayes? You know what happened to him, Spinny? Pistons said, nah, we're just going to send you to the bus stop. They waved his ass.
Ooh,
They're like, no, we're not respecting your trade request. You're getting cut. See ya.
that is
Like,
yeah, that was
can you
wild.
imagine being
I
him?
had a little Killian Haynes kind of had a little mini comeback, and I was like, is this guy gonna do it and make it happen? And then no.
So ass. He's so bad. All right, no moves. Tell me about some of those teams that stood pat that you're confused about.
The Bulls, yeah, that was one that confused me a lot. I think that they had to either be buyers or sellers, most likely sellers. But I just don't get why you keep like Caruso and DeRozan or Kobe White, or I feel like there has to be some type of build and trade
Yeah.
idea there, and I feel like they just are again in purgatory.
Yeah, no, we're the Chicago Bulls. We love purgatory. It's the best, Spinny. Didn't you know
Yeah,
that? That's what they
it's my
want.
favorite thing.
No
Yes. Who
moves.
else
I
did you
had them
have?
down. I had Warriors. Like, why are we not making moves? You have Steph Curry on your team. You need to try to win. You're not going to win with that roster. I'm sorry. You're just not. And to not make one single move, that just blew my mind. Blew my
Yeah,
mind. I also had Kings in there. Kings a top 5 seed, or at least they were at the deadline. They made 0 trades. Like, what? Like, you can't tell me there's not one slight upgrade to your rotation out there. Like, I'm not saying you got
and
to go spend multiple firsts and get the best player available, but like, come on, like, kind of like the T Wolves, like, you got to try to upgrade your rotation somehow. Pelicans, they also fell in that boat too. These are teams in the playoffs right now that are good seeds, not making moves at the deadline. I just find that weird.
agreed.
The final category, the what the fuck are we doing category, Spinny. That's where I put the Bulls, man. What are we doing? Trade your players. Go in tank mode. Stop living in purgatory. Makes no sense. I also have the Nets in there. If this rumor about Dorian Finney-Smith is true, that they were offered 2 firsts for him and declined it, I'm just mind blown. 4 firsts for Mikal Bridges? That's more than he's
Yeah,
worth. Like, you have to full launch into this rebuild or at least try to win, and they didn't do either. They're just like, nah, let's
literally.
just chill.
Nah.
Let's just chill.
Yep.
But we'll dump Dinwiddie, but that's it.
Yep. And get nothing.
I get nothing. Like what? Like, do you have anybody in this category?
Those were the teams I had. The Nets were my biggest team in this category. I just don't understand how you don't either build around McHale but try to get picks in that situation, especially the Finney Smith, or
Yeah,
you trade McHale and go the full rebuild, and get some of those picks back that you gave up and all this crap. And then you pair them with those Suns picks, and that's what you're trying to go on. Like, you got to do something with that.
and they traded Royce O'Neal for 3 seconds and some salaries
Yeah,
to match to the Suns. So it's like you are trading some of your vets, but you're not like
yeah.
actually fully investing in
You're
rebuilding.
purgatorying it.
Like, why? Why do teams do
Why?
this, Spinny? Makes no
Why?
sense. The only last team I had in this category was the Hawks. They were a team that for sure needed to make a move at this deadline to me, whether it's embrace the rebuild or not. They did nothing. They didn't trade DeJounte. They didn't make a low key move. Bogdanovich is still on the team as an expiring contract. WTF we doing, Hawks? If I was an Lance fan, I'd be livid right now.
Agreed. They got to do something.
Well, that's it, Spinny. That's the Mouse in the Palace around our test episode. The Dennis Rodman
Let's
episode.
go. That
I
is the
do have a
pogo
Q and
stick
a for you, though.
episode. The Kevin Green sack expert episode. Sacks for hire, Kevin Green.
Facts. I do have Q&A for you, though, Spinny.
Let's hear it.
Quick one. Two of them. First one's a quick one. Who wins the Super Bowl first? I saw this online. Wanted to hear your thoughts. Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, CJ Stroud, or Trevor Lawrence? Out of those 5, who wins the Super Bowl first? I'm going Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Burrow. No, we're going hot. We're going Stroud.
Ooh, let's go. Let's go. I mean, he definitely could end up being the best one out of those guys, for sure. He could. Now, second question. Pick a winner of each of the All-Star Weekend events. That's this weekend, man. NBA All-Star Weekend. This weekend. Skills challenge. Give me one moment as I pop up who's in it for you.
I'm taking the number 1 picks in the skills challenge,
Thank
though.
you. Thank you. Team
And,
Pacers, we have Halliburton, Mathurin, Miles Turner. The team top picks, Paulo, Ant, and Wemby. And
yep,
team All-Stars, Scotty Barnes, Tyrese Maxey, Trey Young. Obviously, we're taking team top picks.
yeah,
Wemby and Ant and
yeah,
Paulo. Oof,
yeah.
people are done for.
Dubs.
3-point contest. We have Malik Beasley, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Halliburton, Damian Lillard, who's the defending champion, Lauri Markkanen, Donovan Mitchell, Karl Anthony Towns, and Trae Young. I'm going the man's. I have to. Cat. He's getting number 2.
Trae
That's the
Young,
winner.
Dub City.
Trae Young, huh?
Ice Trae, baby.
I don't know. I think it's Cat. Cat again, baby.
All
Come
right.
on. Dunk contest. I swear to God, if you say this, dude.
I'm picking my mans. Jaylen Brown. Come on. He's dubbing Mac McClung's bum dunking. He's dubbing him.
Like Spinny said, Mac is in it, the defending champ. Jaime Jaquez also in it, and Jacob Toppin, Obi Toppin's younger brother, also in it. I'm going Jaime. I'm going Jaime Jaquez.
Oh!
I don't know if you've seen this man. His past dunks. This man has performed in a lot of dunk contests throughout his life. Very noticeable ones in high school. He was pulling off some nasty shit, Spinny. Go watch it on YouTube if you haven't seen it. He's gonna take out something nice, I promise.
Jaylen Brown is destroying this dunk contest. He is absolutely. He is. Those two aren't even going to be close to him. Come on, first time an All Star's done it in forever. You know he's going dummy mode.
All right, we'll see. A new event. I don't know if they even have a name for it, but Sabrina Ionescu is facing Steph Curry in a 3-point contest. Who do you got?
I know, Sabrina.
I'm taking Steph.
It's going to be wild and fun though.
They're shooting with their own balls on their own 3-point line. For those that don't know,
Yep.
Obviously they'll do that. Last one, Spinny. The game. We're back to West versus East. Who do you got? Give me an MVP.
We'll stick with the boys. We'll take the West MVP, Anthony Edwards.
Let's go.
Home cooking on this episode.
I'm the king of home cooking. I picked Cat. I picked team top picks, and I'm taking the West and Anthony Edwards as the MVP as well.
Let's go.
My other guy. I could see Shai getting it. I could see Devin Booker. I think those guys are guys that will try. In the East, obviously, if I were
SGA,
to pick the East,
I could definitely see.
If I were to pick the East, it's obviously Giannis. Like that dude goes so hard every year.
True, loves
for
it
no reason at all. All right, y'all. The Mouse and the Palace run our test episode. We appreciate y'all tuning in.
The Dennis Rodman episode. Hug your friends and family. Thanks for tuning in.